This story begins with the life of Riko, an orphan girl who lived on an island that had a hole, a giant pit called the Abyss. Inside this abyss, there were dangerous creatures and relics. That is why many diggers went to the abyss in search of treasures. Riko was one of them. One day, she was looking for relics with her friend. But, suddenly, she finds this giant bug who was about to swallow her friend. So, she whistles a whistle to distract it. Well, obviously she's gonna whistle a whistle. She's not gonna whistle a shoe. It's just that sometimes I talk for the sake of talking. And the bug starts chasing her. Hey! Hey! Help! What have I done? And when the bug was about to reach her, someone saves her with a lightning bolt. She went to see who had saved her, and it was this kid here. They rescued him and took him to the orphanage where they lived. This orphanage used the children to get relics. The children looked for things and gave them to the orphanage, and then the orphanage sold them. No, it is not that the children keep them, of course not. If they already mistreated the children in this orphanage, it's hard to let them keep what they get, right? In the meantime, by giving energy to the robot that Riko found, which was called Reg, it woke up. But he didn't know what he was. He didn't know where he came from, what his name was, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Although, well, it was evident that he was not a human, because he had a metal arm that could extend. Riko mentions to him that the Abyss may have answers to his questions, because that's where they found him.
Riko, but what do you know about Reg? Well, he can melt trees, his skin is very soft, and fire can't burn his hair. Also, his arm can extend 40 meters. Although, what I found strange is that I couldn't see the hole in his butt. He tried to test it by sticking a stick in it, but it broke inside it.
Ah, they put a stick in, but from behind. What the? Although the Abyss was not something simple, because if you enter the Abyss, the return trip presents a problem. The deeper you go, the more severe the physical burden of returning home will be. In other words, the problem is not going down, you can go down all you want, but of course the problem is going up again. This is where the Curse of the Abyss comes in, which is when you return from the depths of the first layer, you experience dizziness. From the second layer, nausea, headache, fourth layer, intense pain and bleeding, and from the sixth, loss of your humanity or even your death. But it's also not known how many layers there are, nor what the other layers can do to you. Yes, it was not something to be visiting, to go for a walk, nothing. It was a serious thing, where there were monsters and many mysteries that no one had solved. And here I ask myself, why do you send children? I mean, what is the need to put children in this? If it is so dangerous, why 10-year-olds? Well, I don't know if they're 10 years old, but they are not 18, they are little minions. On the other hand, some diggers had returned to the city, and Riko found out that her mother had died. Although she didn't even remember her face, so there's not much of a problem with that. But Riko's mother had left two things behind: a white whistle and some documents. The color of the whistle showed her level as a digger, ranging from red, blue, purple, black, and white. Red, the ones who were just learning, and white, the masters. Her mother also left Riko some documents, where there were a lot of new monsters, and a drawing that was very similar. I would say extremely similar to Reg, so it's a sign that Reg is coming from there. Likewise, leaving a message saying, "In the depths of the underworld, I'll be waiting." Damn it, stop leaving me with so many doubts. I can't imagine what's coming. After this, Riko and Reg decide to embark on their journey into the Abyss to find answers. They say goodbye to their friends from the orphanage, while they were crying, as they would probably never see them again. And so begins Maid in Abyss. What's coming for these children? Let's find out. But before, you would help me a lot if you go down and comment what you thought of the video or anything. And since you are there, subscribe and leave a like. Yes, I know it's a bit lazy, but it doesn't take long and it would help me a lot so that YouTube recommends my videos. Thank you very much. So, they entered the first layer without problems, but they are attacked by a horde of birds and one of them takes Riko. Riko was about to be eaten, although luckily for her, Reg was attentive and quickly countered the birds using his laser beam. He hit the bird and set everything on fire. Riko started to fall and Reg tried to use his extendable arm to catch her, but he couldn't, so he ran and gave her an epic save. But then he passed out for 2 hours, because every time he used his laser beam, he passed out for 2 hours. Not 1 hour and 30, not 30 minutes, 2 hours exactly. Not 1 minute more, not 1 minute less. Why? Nah, Reg is amazing. I mean, we are only in the first layer. Imagine what would happen in the following ones. I'm afraid. I actually like Riko and all, but if she had gone alone, there would have been serious problems. She would probably have been eaten by those birds by now. Then, they entered the second layer, the layer which Riko did not know. They found a human, a white whistle, the most important digger. There was this girl called Ozan. She was a white whistle and she knew Riko's mother. She tried to tell them that her mother was already dead, that it was no longer necessary to go, among other things. Out of nowhere, crazy emo Ozan grabbed Reg, started beating him, and smashed him on the floor. Basically, she treated him like a punching bag. Although luckily, Reg was tough. Why did she hit him? Because she wanted to! She also kicked Riko. Although all this was to give them a reality check, and to prepare them for what was coming down the abyss. She ended up telling them that their mother was still alive, and took them to a place to train, an endurance training, which was to leave them there for 10 days, and they had to survive. I think Ozan did not realize that that is what they have been doing all this time, but, well, they got water, set up a shelter, lit a fire, and lived quietly for a few days. They encountered several bugs, but nothing happened, fortunately. That way, they got enough food to survive the whole 10 days. Sure, great training, as if they hadn't been doing that before. Ozan ended up giving Riko her mother's pickaxe, a diamond pickaxe with efficiency 5, unbreakable 3, and silk touch. Okay, I'm gonna stop. To use as an alternative to Reg's beam. And they left the second layer and descended through this giant hole to the third layer. They went down with his arm, and they had to descend a damn huge wall full of flying bugs. So they had to descend using a rope, slowly and quietly. Although as they advanced, they met this green bug, which I don't know what it is. Many are related to animals, but this one, I have no idea what it is. Reg thought about whether or not to shoot, and he ended up doing so. But he would go to sleep for 2 hours because of this.
Uh-oh, Riko, listen to me. I'm gonna sleep for 2 hours. Please understand, don't do anything. Stay here quietly, read a book, play video games, watch the birds. I don't know, but don't do anything.
Wait, what's that noise? No. They gave him another bug, and this time a huge one. And the worst of all is that while they were running, they were left in a dead end. I don't know how they ended up saving themselves, but they ended up saving themselves. And Reg fell asleep. Riko waited 2 hours to wake up. Yes, it would have been nice if that had happened, but no. Both were swallowed and appeared in the stomach of a bug, with an extremely unpleasant odor. They tried to get out by sticking things in it, and surprisingly succeeded. I guess sticking it in helps sometimes. Oh, fuck. And they were chased by stuffed hamsters. So, Riko had to climb a hill, which, as I explained before, if you go up, you will have problems because of the curse of the abyss. But she was strong and tried. She went up, and as she climbed, she started to hallucinate things. She got dizzy, vomited, and lost her balance. She ended up making it halfway, but she made it. Then, another bug appeared, but luckily, he woke up. And doing an epic leap using the peak, she killed it! Let's go! After this, they continued going down. They arrived at the fourth layer, where, I'm warning you, things happen. Things happen. As soon as they entered, they had a fight. But this bug here, was very dangerous. So the best thing to do was to run. But this bug, it seemed more intelligent than the rest. It even hit Riko. Worst of all, these spikes had poison. The bug had the ability to predict all the movements, and as it was too strong, they decided to climb a tree. But then, Riko began to bleed all over her body. Her whole face was bleeding, because not only she got hurt with the bug spikes, but also, she was suffering the curse of the abyss for having climbed up. So, Riko asked to get her arm cut off, so that she would stop suffering, and so that the poison would not reach her whole body. However, she suddenly realizes that she is no longer alive. Oh, well, that's what she thought. When she was about to die, this stuffed teddy named Nanachi appeared. She explained that she was just in a coma and she was able to save her, and they took her to a hideout where she ended up stitching her arm. Although due to the poison in her hand, it was never going to be the same. After that scene, I wonder what the people who said it's an anime for children are thinking now. Very child-friendly. This scene, Nanachi was a normal person. Well, she was. Now she's a furry, a soft rabbit that overflows with tenderness, although she was human before. Nanachi lived with another person called Midi, and was affected by the curse of the abyss like her. This is what happened in the 6th layer. Nanachi kept his sanity and psychological attributes, even though his body was completely modified, while Midi kept nothing. That is, Nanachi lost his physical form, and Midi his humanity. You know what this reminds me of? Oh, the memories. On the other hand, Reg went to get some things to cure Riko. I'm already telling you that if Riko would wake up and see her arm like this, she would die faster than from the poison. Nanachi and Reg are getting to know each other and are talking about the abyss. While they're talking, Nanachi asks Reg something very important. She ended up asking her to kill her friend for her. Yes, as you heard. I thought she was going to ask her to kiss her or something like that, but this is much more complicated. That way she will no longer suffer, because she will never be able to return to normality. And so, Nanachi says goodbye to her friend, and we all witness the saddest moment of this anime. She kills her. Nanachi was crying and screaming, but it was the best thing to do. And, the next day, Riko was back to normal and Nanachi joined them, making preparations to continue their adventure. And so, Maid in Abyss ends. Also, don't forget to check out these videos, smash the like button, and I'll see you guys next time.